Welcome you back to Park City, Utah, everybody. John Oglesby, Media Relations Director for the Big Sky Conference over football. We're excited to be with you for this 2015 Big Sky kickoff here. Joined by the leader of the Montana State Bobcats, Dakota Prukop. Dakota, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for
we
having
sure appreciate it. As we're doing a live stream interviewing each and every student athlete. Started off last night kind of with each of the players, you know, from every team kind of interacting. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it's a neat experience, you know, to finally get to meet and hang out with some of the guys without shoulder pads and a helmet on. You know, it's cool when you can talk to some defensive guys and they're not, you know, gnashing at you, trying to get a sack. So it's cool, you know. I got to hang out with Tyrone. I got to hang out with Cooper quite a bit, Malcolm, so, you know, a bunch of good guys, and it's cool because, you know, when you have kind of the guys they bring here are the guys that kind of have same personality types, you know, ultra competitive, great athletes, and then great character dudes.
You know, it was interesting. You became, you know, you got entrenched in that starting quarterback role for Montana State late in fall camp. What was it like, you know, being a starting quarterback in Division I football?
Yeah, it's a treat. You know, it's something you dream of as a kid, you know. I mean, as a kid, I was dreaming of being a defensive player. I wanted to be a linebacker like my father, but, you know, that didn't work out, and I think I'm faring off pretty well playing quarterback.
So it's interesting. You're the first quarterback to stop by here. We've had it seem, you know, so far with kind of the way it's been, we've had wide receivers, linebackers, and then cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So I've been asking this question of pretty much every player. When you're pre-snap, first couple seconds right before, what's going through your mind? Obviously, as a quarterback, that's one of the most intensive positions there is.
If we were to sit here and talk about everything you have to think about in the 3 seconds before you snap the ball, we'd be here for quite a while. So I can't get into it all, but, you know.
We'll give the fans the Reader's Digest.
We'll shoot, you know, first thing I like to look at is just, you know, secondary. I like to take a quick peek, scan the field, and then, you know, look into, you know, the front, you know, see if we got any shifting linebackers. And then you really just got to connect all the dots, and, you know, it's kind of like a puzzle each time you get up there. And when you connect it all, you can see a blitz before it comes. And, you know, I've been lucky to be behind a veteran offensive line that can pick that up pretty quick. And, you know, I'm trying to move myself into the role to be able to help those guys out, you know, and, you know, see some of the things they can't see, because when you're up there on the offensive line, you know, it's really hard for them to get a whole scan of the field. And, you know, I can see some of the secondary movement. I can see how that correlates with linebackers and blitzing. And so there's a slew of things you got to think about. But, you know, the last thing I do right before a snap is take a deep breath. You know, it's something my grandfather taught me in golf. So, you know, he's just like, you know, my grandfather used to play quarterback, and he's like, yo, quarterback's just like, you know, playing golf. You gotta take a deep breath before the snap. And I was like, all right, you know, never helped me in golf, but it's helped in quarterback.
We'll get to, you know, your personal predictions for the golf tournament that we got coming up today in just a moment. But, you know, you talk about that vision you have to have as a quarterback, and you had pretty good vision last year, 18 touchdowns compared against only 6 interceptions. You guys with Montana State and FCS playoff berth. How would you kind of talk about last season? What are things you learned from last season that you carry forward to this year?
I learned a lot last season, but it was always funny. We were actually talking about this yesterday with some of the guys, you know, when the game started slowing down for you. And it's funny, I was thrown into that first game, you know, against Arkansas State, extremely athletic team. And, you know, they were firing on all cylinders, especially defensively. And then I went into the next game, and, you know, from game 1 to game 2, it was just like a completely different, you know, completely different deal. You know, Arkansas State was fast. You know, it was my first game. I was just seeing red, you know, and then after that, things slowed down real quick, you know. And so I'm excited to, you know, come into this season, you know, knowing what to expect. You know, I'm with a veteran offensive group. You know, we really didn't lose anybody, and you know, it's going to be fun.
Dakota Prukop, starting quarterback for Montana State University, Cats Nation up there. So I want to ask about that because, you know, I've been fortunate enough in my job and to be able to interact with some Cats fans up there. How would you describe the Montana State fan base?
You know, that was one of the big decisions and, you know, big kind of shiny things when recruiting rolls around, but the fan base at Montana State is unreal. It's, one of the few places in, FCS football you can walk around the street and, people know who you are, and it's cool, and they all show up for game day, and it's a football town, it's a Bobcat town, blue and gold, they bleed it, and it's truly a blessing to be able to play for a fan base like that.
It's interesting because with that, obviously there's a lot of fun. With that, you walk down the street, people know who you are, but there's also a little bit of pressure, some expectations with that. When you walk down the street and people know, hey, that's starting quarterback of the Cats right there. How do you balance that? How do you balance that and use that as a motivator instead of something that can be a little bit too much pressure?
Yeah, exactly like you said, it's a motivator. When especially during summer conditioning, I can remember specific times. We're doing sprints or something. You're tired, you're dog tired, you don't want to do anything more. And then you're just thinking like, man, there's a lot of people that will be up in these stands, pretty soon. And it's cool. It helps fuel the fire. And, we got a great fan base. We don't want to let them down, and we want to produce for them.
So just want to get your thoughts here. Cat Grizz. How do you describe that rivalry in just a few short words?
Yeah, I've watched the Cat Grizz the last 3 years. Didn't have an opportunity to play last year due to a late season injury. So I have 3 seasons of preparation already for these guys, and I haven't got to use it yet. I can't wait. When we're in summer workouts, if you want to get the guys fired up, you yell out Eastern Washington, you yell out Cal Poly, or you yell out the Grizz. So we got some teams on our radar, but one thing Coach Ash always preaches, take it game by game, and that's kind of a thing. Through college football, everyone kind of realizes that now. You can't overlook people, can't underestimate them, and we're just going to take it game by game. But when that week rolls around, I'll say it first. I'm excited. I'm excited for Cat Grizz, and I can't wait for them to come to our place.
Something certainly to look forward to throughout the season for all of us in the Big Sky Conference. I want to get your thoughts as. You talked about it earlier. You come from a football family. Your dad played college football. You've had uncles play college football. Your grandpa played at USC, no doubt. I mean, what's that like, being just another member of a football legacy that is your family?
Yeah, it's cool, especially at family reunions. And, my brother's playing down at Colorado School of Mines now. Yeah. And, he played for Stitt last year, actually. But it's cool. Family reunions are fun. There's a lot of talking, but it's cool. Things I've inherited from it is just kind of, a love for the game.
Yeah.
That's really, what I've benefited from it. And, since a kid, hearing my dad and all his brothers and my grandfather talk about their football stories and stuff, that's what I always used to listen to. And so it's something I'm kind of living now, and, I can appreciate it, and, it's a blessing.
Coming off, as we'll get you out of here in just a moment, coming off that playoff berth, again, there are those expectations for this Montana State team. You guys obviously expect to be one of the top teams in the Big Sky Conference. What are the major goals that you guys have as a season at Montana State?
Yeah, no, at Montana State we expect to be the top team in the conference, and I think we have the firepower to do it. We have the coaching staff to do it. But it comes down to the little things. It comes down to discipline. It's a game of inches. And so there's a lot of great teams, a lot of firepower, a lot of great coaching staffs. So it's a team that's going to do the little things right that are going to add up to be number one.
Okay, we got a couple questions left. One kind of serious, one kind of fun. We'll start out, what's your message to what I know is a very active Montana State fan base as we get ready for the season in 6-7 weeks?
Well, I think, the Montana State fan base knows what we expect of ourselves. But, we got a group of guys that's going to lay everything on the line for our goals this year. And so, they can expect a lot, and I'm sure, they'll get a lot in return, but I look forward to seeing them out at the games.
Okay, last question here. How well are you going to do against all the other players in today's golf tournament?
I've had a few golf lessons this last week from my roommate, Brandon Brown. So first time I really kind of dialed in on some golf, and I used it as an excuse to get out and play, so it was fun. But I have no idea how the other guys are, but I'd assume that I'm going to fare pretty well. So we'll see.
Okay, like the confidence. That's Dakota Prukop, starting quarterback for the Montana State Bobcats right there. We're going to continue in just a moment as we continue from Park City with more student-athlete interviews on this live stream. Again, that's Dakota Prukop, starting quarterback. I'm John Oglesby, back in a moment from Park City, Utah.